Get ready for the dictation. On the count of 3, 2, 1, start. US federal authorities have arrested Jack Teixeira, 21, a member of the Air National Guard, in the case of classified information of the Pentagon that was leaked on social media in recent months, which analysts say has exposed sensitive data regarding the war efforts in Ukraine, potentially undermining Kyiv's plans to push back the Russian invasion. The top secret files that were first leaked on social media websites Discord and 4chan in March this year also caused a flutter for the Joe Biden administration when it revealed confidential and unflattering information about US allies, including South Korea, Israel, and other nations of West Asia and Africa, and assessments of China's developing cyber attack capabilities. Potentially most damaging, though, were the leakers' posts, which reports said genuinely contained classified information of the US military on Ukraine's air defenses being compromised owing to a shortage of missiles in February, also possibly undermining the tactical plans and the element of surprise for Ukrainian forces were files that spoke of the embattled country's long-planned spring counter-offensive to beat back Russian forces starting on April 30 with 12 Ukrainian brigades. While no explicit propagandistic post of the leaker has been revealed yet, it is obvious that the dots join to paint a clear picture of Mr. Teixeira's intention to discredit the war effort of Ukraine and its Western allies and show up the Biden administration in a bad light amongst its global partners. One thing is clear, Mr. Teixeira is no whistleblower, and certainly comparisons to Chelsea Manning or Edward Snowden would be misplaced. The latest leak of US federal government information lacks the moral clarity and ethical underpinning of the WikiLeaks files and the NSA global surveillance expose that Ms. Manning and Mr. Snowden respectively shared with the world in a bid to highlight the excesses of the US government and spur conversations on human rights, foreign policy, and privacy in the digital age. Whistleblowing in the latter contexts led to introspection, policy dialogue, and reforms to bring about greater transparency in US government actions within limits. The 2023 Pentagon leaks have contrarily achieved nothing of this sort but fueled insecurity between the US and other global powers and potentially hobbled the war strategies of the Ukrainian armed forces in their bid to fight off Russian troops attacking their country. Mr. Teixeira has appropriately been charged for the leaks under the US Espionage Act. The critical next step for the Biden White House is now to examine how and why he got top security clearance to handle classified information and take steps to further secure and limit the distribution of sensitive information whose release could seriously undermine US national security interests. In life and in death, former lawmaker Atiq Ahmed typified the collapse of the rule of law in Uttar Pradesh. The visuals of both him and his brother Khalid Azim being shot dead in cold blood on Saturday while they were handcuffed and in police custody show the abject lawlessness that prevails in the state. Early in March, Ahmed had approached the Supreme Court of India expressing fear that he might be killed in a fake encounter on one pretext or the other by the UP police. The court refused to entertain his plea. His son Asad Ahmad was killed in an alleged encounter with a UP police team on Thursday in Jhansi. Father and son were both accused in the sensational daylight murder of a political rival in February. Ahmad, the former leader of the Samajwadi Party and Apna Dal, opened his history sheet at the age of 17 and had more than 100 criminal cases at the time of his murder at the age of 60. Far from facing the force of law, he reigned supreme as a don-cum politician through various regimes in UP since the 1990s. Even when he went to jail, his empire of crime did not collapse. He was shifted to a prison in Gujarat in 2019 and on his return to UP was facing fresh charges of murder which ended with his own killing in the most chilling manner. According to the UP police, 183 alleged criminals have been gunned down in encounters in the last 6 years. More than 10,900 police encounters have taken place since March 2017. Due process, central to any rule of law, and once that is allowed to be short-circuited, the result is chaos. The UP police and administration have stretched the limits of its legitimate power by the dubious and discriminatory application of law and processes. The demolition of properties of people suspected of crime or participating in political protest has become routine. It appears that this practice is popular among the supporters of the ruling Bharatiya Janata Party and Chief Minister Yogi Adityanath, and that makes this trend not merely lawlessness but also a social pathology. Several political parties have sought accountability in the double murder that took place under the watch of the UP police. The state has announced a 3-member commission headed by a former High Court judge to inquire into the lapses. Considering the serious charges that the state government and its police face of discrimination based on religion and caste and scant regard for due process, an inquiry of a demonstrably independent nature is required.